Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is a very special episode of Speedify Live Office Hours. And what makes it special is that we've got Will. Hey, Will.
How you doing?
Yeah, we're expanding into more of the Speedify development staff. So what do you do at Speedify, Will?
I'm sure you guys know Kevin. He's been on a couple times, and Mike.
A couple times.
You guys haven't seen Mr. Lutz, but I work with those guys. We do all that packet processing stuff.
Yeah, a lot of the building of tests. Right?
Oh yeah,
it's probably a thing a lot of you guys don't think about. There goes nearly about the same amount of work into making Speedify as into making all the programs to test that Speedify really works. Turns out it's an enormous project, right? Speedify has to work in gazillions of situations. And so setting up and simulating and emulating all those different situations to see if we can, break Speedify, like a big job. So this is office hours. What does that mean? It is your show, guys. You post questions, we see them, we answer them. So if you have a question, you just post in the comments underneath, and we see them scroll by. Questions like this: Will or William?
you can call me Will.
All right, Will. All right. I'm not going to say hey to everybody who says hey, but we are seeing these messages. Hey to everybody. So yeah, you ask questions about Speedify or anything else in the comments. We see them, we answer them, and it's going to be awesome. So give us a follow, smash that like button, so you know when we go live. All right. So my question of the day for you guys is about ports that you miss. More and more laptops have less and less ports on them. USB ports, Ethernet ports, serial ports, parallel ports. Which ones do you miss? Which ports have disappeared off your laptop that you wish you could have back? That's what I'd like to hear. Apple in particular has gone nuts.
The Ethernet port would be great. All the time, the Ethernet port is great.
I got a Windows Lenovo laptop that had two USB-C ports and a USB-A port. Now I've moved up to a Mac that only has two USB-C ports, and I'm perpetually keyboard to the USB-A port. Well, I needed to use a thumb drive the other day, USB-A port. You just can't put them into the Mac without carrying this other adapter with you. So much as I love USB-C, USB-A is so far from gone. There should still be a USB-A port.
Although the port's not so ossified. I mean, cars still have cigarettes.
Yeah.
And I don't think that those are. Do they have them on the Tesla? I wonder.
I don't know. Does my car have a?
I don't know.
It must. I think they're totally normal in cars. I mean, I've got a USB-A and a USB-C, and the back actually have a built-in power outlet you can run a laptop off. But all right. I'm a Troll says loving the new SSO feature. Now I can have it on all my devices. Yeah. So in the most recent releases of Speedify, you can now log in with your Apple account, with your Google account, or still with the username and password. I just wish all USB-C ports were created the same. And cables. I mean, it was crazy for a while, right? When the Raspberry Pi came out, its USB-C port wasn't wired right. So everyone said, well, if you're using the Raspberry Pi, make sure you get the Amazon Basics USB-C cables, because they're in an effort to keep them cheap. Amazon left out some of the wires, and they happen to be the ones that Raspberry Pi wired up wrong. So it's the best cable. They go together perfectly. Who needs to know this USB-C port, right? Any cable should work. No. All right. I want the disk drive back, like a floppy drive.
That was her.
Yeah. Man, I was at my parents' house. And I found a drawer with a zip drive. You remember the zip drive?
No.
They were meant very briefly in the 90s. They were a replacement for the floppy disks. They were much thicker and they could hold much more data. And just for a moment to like 2 years, they were all the rage, and everyone had these external drives and these giant floppies. And then it went away. Oh, Brian Purdell, no ports, please. I want an IP68 MacBook. So IP68 means waterproof and dust resistant, which pretty much means you can't have any ports, right? Completely sealed. I mean,
It's
obviously
not a
the
bad
keyboard,
idea.
the keyboard's a problem, right?
Surely there's a way to get ports on a waterproof.
Yeah, there are. There are
Yeah.
waterproof phones and ports, but you're really going for dust proof and all right.
So BP, what do you do that you need a computer?
Will, move up. Hard to hear you. You sit back so far. Yeah, all right, fine. Scoot up. Not a port, but I miss Task Manager being a hardware. I totally agree. Windows 2000 was the best release of Windows 2000 was the last release of Microsoft Windows where Control-Alt-Delete set off a hardware interrupt that caused, the screen to come up with the task manager and stuff. Ever since then, every release of Windows now, it's just software. There's a piece of software running, polling to see if you've hit Control-Alt-Delete, which means if the CPU is completely overwhelmed with something in software, you can't interrupt it with Control-Alt-Delete necessarily because it's not a hardware interrupt anymore. And yeah, Windows 2000, last release where that worked right. And I am still bitter. All right. Or whatever IP rating it is, that means it's resistant to pretzel salt. That's extremely specific. All right. Roll limit. I missed the serial port. And victims lost pretzels. Yeah, Mike Kane was one of those guys when the butterfly keyboard came out, right? He got one crumb of food underneath his keyboard, and Apple had to replace the laptop.
Did that really happen, Mike?
That really happened. All right. Yeah, Quad Galaxy. My car has the port for the cigarette lighters, but the heating element is gone. So it's just a 12-volt power supply now. All right. It looks like someone with a real question. Very exciting. Hello, guys. I'm trying to debug my system because it seems to disconnect over and over. Trading View flashes. Streamlabs drops the collab cam. And I do have Starlink and fiber connected to Speedify. Each time my system loses connection, Speedify tells me it saved the stream, but it did not. Any suggestions on where I can start debugging it? Okay. So Speedify tells you it saved the stream because it did save the stream before, but now it thinks the stream is over. It doesn't tell you it saved the stream until it sees the stream has ended because you're busy streaming and doesn't want to interrupt you. So that fits together. Right? I'm just saying it's a tiny bit less mysterious. You did get cut off, and that's why Speedify is telling you all the good it did before your stream ended. Can you send logs? In the app, click the menu, you scroll to the bottom, there's generate logs. You click that, and it should make a zip file and send it to support@speedify.com. Because I'm not sure we're going to figure it out from here.
But happy to take a look.
All right. I just want to know. Why I can't add a manual bypass for a destination IP or subnet. That's the number one reason why I turn off Speedify and don't want to turn back on. If you're on Windows or Linux, you can. In the CLI, there's a Speedify CLI. There's a bypass. There are options in there you can find for you.
Yeah, you can bypass ports and services and domains specifically. We've got some documentation up on that on our website as well.
Yeah, that's right. The iOmega zip. That's what I was talking about. 250 megabytes on one floppy. It was a revolution. Oh, remember the PCMCIA cards? Yeah. I mean, I had an Ethernet PCIe card. I had a weird little, because it had little flat credit cards. And so the Ethernet port actually popped out sideways. So you put the cable straight down through. It was not very physically strong. But, you know, it was nice. Laptops could have extension cards. You know, you could actually have hardware accessories. Yes, Will is one of the beautiful people. I agree. All right. Would the MacBook with more ports be more secure or less secure? I would think more secure. I mean, at least in theory. Supposedly there are evil USB drives that hack your device, but I've never seen one.
I was looking into these big hunks of ports that you leave on your desk and you plug into the wall, and they kept saying, you know, we're not going to work with all of your peripherals, especially not your monitors, unless you give us full access to your machine, including we need to record your screen for this to work. There's no other way. It's ridiculous. I don't know. There's a chance it makes sense. That's the only way.
Do you guys write Speedify's user interface over in new languages every few years?
Oh my God.
No.
Oh my God. My God.
You know, we talk about it. The amount of time we spent talking about redoing Speedify's user interface. Yeah, we are still on an ancient unsupported version of Angular. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, every time, you know, some new thing comes out, say, oh, well, watch, if this becomes popular, we'll switch to it. And then just starts becoming popular, the new thing comes out, and everyone says that one's dead, right? And things like, I don't know, the JavaScript user interface stuff. It's such churn. It's really absurd. All right. Yeah. A couple of years, the iOmega zip was everywhere. They really were. All right.
What years were those?
I don't know, 95, 96, 97 kind of
Okay.
years. Maybe not 97. 97 maybe is too late. Maybe it was gone by then. I don't know. All right. So he's sending logs. That's good. I found a particular problem with one app that I use a lot that blocks connections. Can you tell us what the app is? Maybe we can do something better. All right.
Calculate port. What?
I don't know what that is.
idea what that is.
I feel like I'm being set up for.
Yeah, that doesn't sound legitimate.
Yeah. Can I ask something about computer hardware? You can ask. I think we're mostly software people, but you know. How do you feel about the EU having a new app store? Will you use it? Under the terms that Apple announced for third-party app stores, if those stand, then absolutely not. We will not use them. I think the rules are going to change. Stop there. um, all right. So you hear about this article about the free VPN apps on the Google Play Store that were turning Android phones into proxies?
Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit. I don't know. It sounds like you have some good opinions on that. You think that there's a legitimate case for some kind of service like that?
So, one, obviously, people have to be informed. So there were like 15 free VPN apps that, when you use them, and it didn't explain this, other people were able to VPN into your phone and use your internet. Why would they want to do this? Well, it turns out they were selling it to hackers. So hackers could like attack banks and stuff. And if the bank, hired security experts or went to the FBI and had them track down who the attack came from your phone, not theirs, right? So that is completely evil, terrible, blah blah.
Yeah, that's not good.
I did wonder. I mean, what if part of the deal was? And it's not right now. Speedify. We're just throwing around ideas here. What if you could route safe stuff like Netflix through someone else's computer that had, a fast fiber optic connection and didn't mind if that person got a discount? Not anything with hackers and attacking banks and things. But what if a certain amount of legitimate traffic? The trouble is, I know what's the name? Ola. That VPN. They started with that, but then they discovered there was just so much money in selling the evil hackers access these people's computers, right? People would pay $1 or $2 to be able to, see Netflix, but they pay hundreds of bucks to be able to, attack the Federal Reserve Bank. And so invariably, I think that's where the temptation is to go.
What was this VPN company? Hola?
Yeah.
Never heard of them.
It's yeah, look for them. They might be gone now. I mean, they really got busted, but I don't know, I'm surprised how often companies get busted. Nobody seems to care. There you go. The free smart TV apps that set up a proxy are even crazier. Yeah. Great. Now I need to learn how to market my data. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. So you get a free aquarium screensaver app, and bam, your Fire Stick is now proxying some sneaker-bot garbage, right? See, hey, you got this app. It gives you a cool screensaver on your TV, and meanwhile, it's letting hackers come in and attack banks and stuff. Maybe even attack stuff in your house. All right, keep up the good work. Best VPN. Seen so many YouTubers using this. Good. Yeah, this stuff's so creepy. It's tough, right? You think about some of these arguments with Apple and the App Store. There's all these things that they're banning us from doing, even though our customers want us to. Right? They say that we are not allowed to look at what apps you're using. Even if we're not sharing with us, you guys ask all the time, can I make this app do this and this app go through the VPN, this app never go through the VPN? And on iOS, the answer is no, because Apple says it's none of our business, even though we have totally legitimate reasons. But for all of these things, there is someone who abused it. I mean, that crazy, Onato, the Facebook VPN, it was horrific. It was watching what apps you were using, so that if any social networking apps suddenly started getting popular, it would set off alerts at Facebook headquarters. And they put in a fake certificate authority. So yeah, they were unencrypting the Snapchat traffic. They were watching stuff from the other apps. It was horrible. I mean, frankly, criminal. And so so now Apple won't let us let you do that. And it seems ridiculous to me, but now I realize just oh my god, what these other apps did. It's really terrible. So how it happened. You bad apples. So what is new with Speedify? Is there a new version coming out one of these days?
One of these days, yeah. So it's an agile team, so I keep pretty frequent with those releases. The next ones come out.
Pretty soon, like probably tomorrow, right?
Probably tomorrow. Yeah.
So what's going to be new in 14.7?
Mostly just more reliability.
A lot of improvements to pair and share,
Yeah.
including shifting around some of those screens, explanations. When things don't work, there's much clearer explanations on why, and often there's something you can do about it, telling you got to connect to VPN for it to work and things like that. Yeah.
Whereas before, everything that didn't work with parent share just said unavailable in the UI. I don't actually know why.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, this proxy stuff is so weird, so nasty. Things people come up with, right? Letting the hackers go through your computer. And there's this race to the bottom, right? You could say there's probably some legitimate use for somebody to put their Netflix through you, but those aren't the people who are going to pay the big bucks, right?
Yeah.
The less legitimate they are, the more they're willing to pay. So. Hi, can I use Speedify Pro on multiple devices with one license? Ebullient Abundance asks. Yes, you can use it on 5 devices at the same time if you purchase. Actually, you can use it at 6 devices at the same time, but we say 5. The 6th is just so you can switch. Your computer breaks, you get a new PC. Okay, you can bring that on as a 6th device. If you don't use a device for a week, it falls off. So basically, you can use it on 5 devices, and you can switch which devices every week. That's why we need to bring back paid advertising surveys. It's like no incentive to tell the truth, right? It's an advertiser, that's sort of an issue, right? All right. To an external GPU for live streaming. Huh. I don't normally think, I know they exist, but I don't normally think of GPUs as being external. I think of giant desktop towers. So, you like it? Does it work well, the external GPU? I'm curious. And like, which one do you use?
Yeah, I'm curious what the bus speeds are.
Like, is it probably not USB-C? Is it like PCMCIA?
PCIe or those things?
PCIe or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, how's it connect to your computer? What's it connected with?
It was BP and I were talking about this InfiniBand. Apparently, BP knows it pretty well. I was reading some kernel documentation. I came across this InfiniBand. What the heck is this, BP? He goes on. He's like, I worked with them all the time. I know it's all about it. It's such a weird thing.
Yeah, that was a thing once upon a time. It was a standard for super fast connections between the parts of like a supercomputer, and I think it didn't really take off. A lot of really high end computers had it for a little while, but didn't get cheap enough. Didn't come down market, so it got busted. All right, got the Linux GPU. All right, this was fun. Yeah, there's a lot more people. We got a lot of people watching today.
130. Wow.
Yeah.
Hello, friends.
Hello, friends. Would you be my neighbor? Yeah. So, what things are coming up? Uh,
Don't do that.
I will do this. If Will's Will's will, then Will's will would be willing to will as much as Will's will would will.
What?
You know, buffalo, 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 buffalo is a sentence.
It's a real sentence.
It's
yeah.
a real sentence. in
Also,
English.
printf is drawing complete. Buffalo. Yeah.
So I don't know. All right. Well, we're at 2:30. Not sure that we've been super productive here. Have we solved anyone's technical issues? Probably not. Sometimes they're really productive,
but then you have me on. So we're switching things up.
All right. My company doesn't allow me to install software Speedify on our computer. Anyway, I can share my bonded connection via iOS. You can introduce another computer into the mix, something like a Raspberry Pi. They're little Linux computers. They're like they claim they're $35, but that doesn't include the box with power supply or whatever. But they are less than $100. And you can put Speedify on that. You can tether your iPhone to that. You can have it join Wi-Fi, Ethernet, and then share it out to your computer. That is probably your best bet today. You can, of course, run Speedify on your phone, Android, iOS. But the hotspot it makes goes around Speedify. Now, if your other device, like your PC, has Speedify, then when it joins the hotspot, they can do pair and share back and forth. But you said you can't put Speedify on your PC.
We have some useful scripts for setting up that sharing on the Raspberry Pi. And that would support.
Anything new for progress on router support or the hosting of dedicated servers? Yes, to report on. No. We are working on it. A bunch of people working on it. Serious about it. There are prototypes floating around the office, but can't announce a time or anything like that until the damn thing works. Some neat things we're changing up all sorts of stuff about how you register the accounts and things and how we keep track of data. It's one of these projects that just keeps growing and growing. We're gonna have really nice router product in the end. That's gonna be awesome. So do like, subscribe. We'll be back. You want to know when we go live again?
So paid.
Why so paid? Hosting these servers costs a lot of money. We have a real cost of goods. Yeah, it is not free. And some of you guys run terabytes through the servers. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Like this costs real money to run, and I am not secretly selling your data. I am not proxying other hackers. If a VPN is that cheap, if it's that free, you have to ask where's the money coming from. And as we saw, there are 15 VPN companies that are secretly letting hackers launch attacks off your devices. I mean, I'm not even happy about this. It makes people say VPN companies are untrustworthy. And it's the race to the bottom for lemons, right? As a legitimate guy who does not sell your data, who does not let hackers on your devices, I have to charge. And people say, why can't you be free like the other guys? Think about what you're asking me to do. All right. Max asks, any chance we see both those by the end of 2024? Yes. Honestly, well, yes. You might see both of them by the end. All right. Here we go. I use my iPhone for tethering. The iPhone runs Speedify. Are the connected computers traffic going through Speedify as well? No. Unfortunately, built into both the iPhone and Android, traffic into the hotspot goes around us and straight out cellular or the Wi-Fi. But if you have Speedify on both devices, we set up pair and share. Over that hotspot, the Speedify running on that phone can say, hey, I've got cellular and I've got Wi-Fi. Does anyone else need it? And the other phones on the hotspot who might have cellular, for instance, can offer up, including back to that guy running the hotspot, like, hey, I've got another cellular. So we can do all sorts of neat things if all the devices have Speedify. But the basic default without pair and share, yeah, it goes around Speedify and straight out the hotspot. Now with the Raspberry Pi, we provide scripts just right out of the bat. There's there's an easy configuration file to set up to have sharing that goes through Speedify out to all your devices, or to any sort of Debian type Linux, Ubuntu too. All right. The more you smash that like button, the faster your internet gets. It works. I haven't tried that myself, but I like the theory. People should test it. All right. The packets are divided and diverted on different connections.
Sorry, I'm tripped up on on how that one was written. Can you imagine if I wrote my PRs like that?
I can.
Look, okay. No, but yeah, that's what happens.
I mean, maybe a French speaker.
Marlene is.
That's right. I took many years of French. I'm good, didn't we? Yes. So the packets actually are divided up. I mean, this is the beauty. We're a multi-path VPN. So we connect on your Wi-Fi, your cellular, any internet connection that the operating system of your device thinks can get. We connect out onto the server. Once we do that, we have all these different connections. We can packet by packet decide, oh, I want this to go over the Wi-Fi. I want this to go over the Wi-Fi. I want this to go over the Wi-Fi. Oh man, the Wi-Fi is getting slow because I gave it so much stuff. I'm going to put this one on the cellular, right? So packet by packet, we can do all kinds of cool stuff. Yes, Speedify is a VPN. It encrypts all of your traffic, sends it to a server. Anyone listening in on your network just sees encrypted traffic. Speedify seems to be included in Magewell Director Mini's new firmware. I didn't know that shipped. All right. Awesome. All right. I guess they shipped it. Magewell's Director Mini now has Speedify on it. The Director Mini, bring it in because I didn't think we were announcing anything, is a really neat device that Magewell does. It runs Android. It's about this big. And it takes 2 HDMI in. And then on its touch screen, it has a full set of editing software. You can put titles. You can do picture in picture. You can do split screen. You can decide which one to switch between. It lets you direct a multi-camera show right on the screen. And then for internet, it's got a bunch of options. It's got Ethernet. It's got Wi-Fi. It's got USB. You can tether phones. And then using Speedify, you can connect all of those together and have a bonded connection. So pretty nice. Talk about how that worked. Yeah, we nice little deal with them. Speedify SDK. They took kind of the guts. We gave them the C++ guts of the Speedify app, and they it's a lot of the code from our Android app. We let them include in their app. And yeah, so the device, I don't think it says Android anywhere, but what it's doing is it's running Android. So it's a modified Android version of our app. just download the Android app. When I get to the green continue page, but nothing seems to happen when I click the button. Am I missing something? I think it should be, I don't know. Maybe something below. Could you scroll down? Maybe something fell off the bottom screen, but I don't think so. I think you agree and continue, and
Yeah, that should not.
that should go
If
on
you're
to
clicking
that
the button,
screen.
the button should do something.
On iOS, then it asks for VPN permission, but on Android, it's a little late.
It's been a little bit since I put it on my Android.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right at all, man. Why? And he can't generate logs yet. He's not far enough in. Try swiping it away and run it again. See if it magically gets fixed. All right. Well, we're at 2:40. We've been doing this for 40 minutes. I think it's been fun. But I think we're going to say goodnight here. Good night, Will.
Good night, Alex.
All right. See you, everybody. This has been great. And see you online.